What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we're watching the Geek for Fun channel, and we watching What If Goku was in DC Part 5, and we're gonna watch Part 6 as well. So yeah. So last time we saw the Saiyan Saga, Goku and Vegeta going at it. Everybody teamed up on Vegeta, and they was able to beat him. And then the last Green Lantern, the new Green Lantern, Kyle, said he was gonna fix things. So I only said that so we had to watch the review because we already seen that shit, right? Anyway, we about to get into it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's go.
Kyle Rayner exited the bar's back door, heading into the alleyway to get some air. The news report of Coast City's destruction had shaken him. He was an artist. He was used to imagining the impossible, but all those people wiped out so quickly, for no reason at all. He didn't know how to even fathom such a thing.
It's going to be alright. Someone's going to know what to do.
Kyle's vision was suddenly engulfed by a burst of emerald light. The Guardian, Ganfet, now floating above him.
We haven't got much time, so I suppose you'll do.
It has been a week since the attack of the Saiyans. The people of Earth have begun to rebuild, but the losses that day have been etched into the planet and its heroes. Enraged by Aquaman's death, his queen Mera demanded Arthur's seat on the Justice League. Prince Vegeta is now imprisoned in Themyscira, being too powerful for even the strongest of meta-human jails to contain him. Wonder Woman hopes to learn more about the true purpose behind the attack from him, but the decision has been a point of controversy, with Lex Luthor stoking the fires of people demanding the Saiyan be brought to their idea of justice. This anti-Saiyan rhetoric has also impacted Kakarot's life, no longer being able to go on his usual patrols without people heckling him on sight. Kakarot understood why people were reacting this way, but it meant he had to reevaluate just how he was going to keep helping people who didn't want anything to do with him. The Daily Planet was the only paper to still attempt to highlight his good deeds, but even the mighty pen of Lois Lane couldn't change the fact that Kakarot was going to be forever associated with one of the greatest tragedies in history.
I mean, that is
Everyone had lost something that day, but there was a chance to put things right, thanks to Kyle Rayner.
So then, after he told me about the core, Ganthet mentioned something about these things called entities. That if they'd been able to use all of them together, all the destruction could have been undone. I tried to press him further, but he never mentioned it again. He looked guilty. I know this isn't much, but this guy's a guardian of the universe, and, well, I can't help but feel there has to be something to it.
You're asking us to scour the entire universe on a feeling.
Please. With my ships, you could search galaxies in a day. It's hardly an issue.
Don't test me, Luthor. After the stunt you pulled against the Saiyans, you're lucky to not be in a jail cell.
I already disproved your little allegations, but if we're throwing them around, I'm sure I can think of a few of your secrets we can share.
Gentlemen, now is not the
I
time.
use that picture.
I can attest to what the Green
That
Lantern
looks
saw.
disgusting.
The boy's memories do not lie,
you do the
and I have
Martian
heard
Manhunter?
whispers of such beings in my lifetime.
Even so, Jean, this is bringing people back from the dead. Isn't that a little above our pay grade?
If even the slightest chance of reviving Arthur exists, nothing will stop me. Even death.
It seems another of my mistakes is having unforeseen consequences. My apologies.
The Guardian appeared in the Hall of Justice meeting room without warning, having suspected Carl may try to act on his slip-up in mentioning the entities. Given the information was now in the open, he felt it was his duty to explain to the League the impossibility of such a task. Long ago, the white light was shattered by the darkness into the 7 feelings of the emotional spectrum. This led to life being generated across the universe, beginning on Earth. As sentient beings began to rise, 7 of them were the first to tap into the energy and corresponding light of the emotions, thus being transformed into cosmic level entities of staggering power. The Butcher, embodying rage. Ophidian, avarice. Parallax, fear. Ion, willpower. Adara, hope. Proselyte, compassion. And the Predator, love.
Did it?
Ganthet theorized that should all the beings be brought together, it could reignite the white light of life and bring back those killed that day.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen people come back. I mean, we thought you were dead, Kakarot, until you showed up in new duds and spiky hair. Hair.
Yep, we have to give it a shot. Plus, if there's these crazy strong beings out there, I really want to meet them. What's there to lose?
Everything we have left. I don't think you understand. We just took the biggest hit to our defenses in history thanks to your family reunion. Now the planet is going to be vulnerable, and if this dark side, or anyone else with a basic understanding of strategic timing decides to launch another strike while we're off-world, who's going to stop them?
Me. I will be staying behind, and with the help of our remaining allies, the world shall be guarded from threats within and without. You have my word. In my stead, John shall lead this odyssey.
The Martian Manhunter was taken back at first by the offer, but humbly accepted leadership for the time being. Lex Luthor requested to stay behind too, under the pretense of focusing on the rebuilding efforts he was funding, when really he saw this as exactly the type of opportunity Batman was worried about. Luthor was already being viewed as the hero that saved Earth, but now he could cement that in the public's mind with the League being gone. For the next 3 days, the heroes prepared, doing their best to ensure that any lingering threats were dealt with before they set off on their journey. Kakarot first asked Jimmy Olsen if he wanted to look after the farm, but Jimmy was busy fighting demons in another dimension, so he then had to default to Lady Shiva. She was intrigued at the offer, a new challenge she hadn't considered, and decided to ensure that she would pull some connections to make sure it would be taken care of, so long as he showed her his new improvements. Kakarot ignited his Wrathform aura, nearly destroying the room they were in from the sudden burst of ki. Lady Shiva noted that there was an increase in power, but in her opinion, the threat of losing control made the form useless in her mind. He was not in balance. A beast's rage was not the same as a man's. Primal anger was a fleeting thing. To sincerely find balance, Kakarot would need true, spiritual fury. She believed his form was a mere stepping stone, and that Kakarot had yet to fully find what suited him best.
You are a curious thing to me, warrior. You are the only person I've ever met who enjoys combat more than I, and yet we cannot agree on its use.
Well, you hurt people for money.
No, I kill people for money. We've had this conversation many times. I respect that you have your path and I walk mine. You are one of the few people who know that you must learn to heal if you are to learn to harm, lest the harm be crude. It is why you interest me. But I must ensure before you leave Earth that you understand my meaning. You were beaten by this Vegeta. The only reason you live is due to the assistance of your allies. Luck. As you leave Earth, you are going to run into someone who is going to fight to kill you. Someone who can do it, if you choose to rely on this artificial rage, this false sense of balance that you've created. And
the Super Saiyan rage?
Then I will mourn you, Kakarot Kent. But it will not be for long.
The Justice League was finally ready to begin their search, the first stop on their journey being the Vega system, specifically the planet Okara, where they saw Ophidian, entity of avarice, source of the orange light. The Guardian Ganthet informed them of the location and the dangers of its owner, Agent Orange, the only member of the Orange Lantern Corps and one of the strongest beings in the universe. He was volatile, but not impossible to negotiate with, the Guardians having done so in the past, so long as they gave him something he would want. After a few days' journey, the League arrived on the planet, deciding to have Flash and Kakarot scour the planet first, as they were the fastest. The two stumbled upon a suspicious cave system, and upon entering it, were greeted by a terrible smell. The pair dove deeper, with Kakarot sensing an enormous concentration of energy from within, which they finally saw at the top of what looked like a shrine, the orange power battery.
I didn't think it'd be so beautiful.
The pair felt drawn to the battery, a growing desire to have it building within them. They needed it for the people they lost. No, they needed it for themselves. They had to have it before Kakarot and Flash could act on this overwhelming greed. they were smacked aside by a legion of strange alien creatures.
That's mine!
The creatures were in fact Larfleeze's core, or rather, his constructs, people he had slain that now obeyed his will as Orange Lanterns. Kakarot and Flash quickly responded, taking on the army as best they could. Kakarot was able to dispatch them quickly, punching his way towards Larfleeze himself, but the numbers were overwhelming, and it seemed that even ancient Saiyans were among his core. Larfleeze recognizing that Kakarot was a Saiyan as his rings scanned the pair of thieves. Kakarot was forced to unleash his Wrath Form, the glowing green energy blasting back the constructs for a moment, with Larfleeze's eyes widening at the sight.
A Super Saiyan? After all these centuries, you shall be mine, oh mythic monkey!
Huh? Super Saiyan? Sorry, but I don't know what that is. I'm just a Saiyan raised on Earth.
Oh wait, no. The Super Saiyan is meant to be different, isn't it? Never mind. I've never seen that before either, so give it to me!
Kakarot tried to ward off Larfleeze's attack. However, Wally had managed to take the opportunity during the fight to steal Larfleeze's power battery, holding it near the edge of the cave, in front of the Orange Lantern.
Hold on! We're only here for the thing you've got inside this. We're not here to fight.
You speak of Ophidian the Tempter? No! I'll kill you for taking my stuff!
As Larfleeze prepared to strike again, Kakarot quickly darted between them, asking Flash to give the lantern back to Larfleeze, then proposing something better.
You like having good things, right?
I like having all the good things!
Well, how about the best thing? Like better than anything you got here?
You insult my prized collection, Simeon! Ha! How can I know someone like you has any idea what such a fabled best ever thing would be?
Got any food?
Larfleeze snapped his fingers, summoning a strange, spherical creature.
Glomulus! Prepare what the Earthlings call snacks!
A few hours passed, and the rest of the League arrived, after being informed of the situation by Flash, only to be greeted by a most peculiar sight. Larfleeze, belly fit to burst, his arms struggling to lift themselves to grab anything more from his plate, despite every fibre of his being wishing to. On the other side of the feast hall, Kakarot, happily devouring his meal, an inconceivable amount of discarded plates beside him.
You know, this food looks kinda weird, but it tastes great! More, please!
I have never seen someone consume so much with no end in sight, Saiyan. I think we might be almost friends. What is this best thing you want, so that I can take it?
It's going on a mystical adventure!
An adventure? Very well, you will all join me on my new adventure then. Yes, soon it will all be within my grasp.
With Larfleeze and the Avarice entity joining them, the League decided to split up into 3 teams to cover more ground, as the locations of the rest of the entities were unknown. However, with both green and orange energy, Hawkgirl was able to use the nth metal in her wings to harmonize a similar set of frequencies, allowing their ships to detect if they stumbled upon any other sources from the emotional spectrum. 2 weeks passed, and seemingly nothing was happening.
I know nothing about DC, so
and
what would that mean?
Manhunter were relieved that they had at least been put together on a team, as even with nothing to do, having each other's company was something. That is, it would have been, had they not been saddled with taking Larfleeze along. Martian Manhunter's mental powers being the only way to calm the lantern, albeit only slightly.
This is infuriating! It feels like it's been eons, and yet adventure still eludes my grasp!
Despite Larfleeze's occasional outburst, he mostly kept to his own quarters, his paranoia helping to give Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl some semblance of privacy.
I know you think I'm a bad person.
Kendra?
With how I feel about Saiyans. Look, I know it's stupid. Kakarot he's a good guy. He's a moron, but he's good. I can understand that. It's just when you've lived so many different lives, and so many of them have been killed by a single group of people. It's hard to shake.
I do sympathize, Kendra. I am no stranger to misjudging those based on the actions of a people. But I am also a victim of it. Kakarot is trying to redefine what the Saiyan legacy is, and I believe it is our duty to help.
Before their conversation could go any further, their attention shifted to the radar screen blipping in the coordinates of a planet they were approaching.
La Fleece, I need you to stay and protect your ship. It would be disastrous if someone stole it from you while we were away.
Yes, of course! I won't let them near all my shiny new stuff! The LexCorp kitchen utensils are mine, and mine alone!
The pair landed and were greeted by the Indigo tribe,
Thanos?
who inquired as to how they were discovered. The duo explained their search for the entities and how it brought them to this place. Martian Manhunter attempted to scan their minds, only to feel an overwhelming amount of compassion. So much so that it was forcibly changing every member of the tribe, who would otherwise be psychopathic.
Kendra, I want you to ask them to convert me to the tribe. I won't have any sense of self in a moment.
Deciding that this would be the only way to summon the entity, John used his shape-shifting to alter his brain chemistry to a state of insanity. Kendra begged the tribe to help John, and without hesitation, they brought John into the core to tame him. With some sense of self recovered, John then linked his mind to all the Indigo tribe present, enhancing how every single one of them was feeling to an even more extreme degree. The task was overwhelming, but before his mind reached its breaking point, the entity proselyte emerged in the sky above them, diving into John and making him its host. Kendra quickly wrapped John in her wings, hoping, praying, that the properties at play would at least aid him somewhat in his fight to gain control. The Indigo tribe was in shock at the psychic power on display, while John slowly but surely rose to his
feet. Hey, look, I wanna look. If I'm not reacting too much to the shit, DC Universe, DC Comics, lore, I do not know. Anime, Dragonball Z, I know a lot, but DC Comics, I just know characters. I don't know backstories. I don't know none of this shit. So if I'm not reacting to it, it's like I just can't react to it. I'm sorry, cause I'm confused in the mud. I'm not gonna lie. I am. So bear with me.
Feet, his mind reshaping itself and attempting to take control back to its normal state.
Oh my God, Jean! How did you know you could pull that off?
Knowing you were there to catch me if I fell allowed me the courage to step off the edge.
Things were not as successful for the team of Flash and Mirror. They had arrived on the planet after their ship system had suddenly changed course, but decided to search the area once the radar did pick up energy from the emotional spectrum. However, the planet in question was not one to be taken lightly. They were on Warworld, hiding in the stands of the gladiatorial arena, while Mongol stood in his high throne, announcing the next round of carnage.
Are you sure this is where we need to be right now? I am prepared to face that tyrant myself and beat the answers from him.
Easy, She-Ra. If we're here to find a big scary cosmic thing, Mongol's not going to be the kind of guy to hide the fact he's got it. There's bound to be someone here who's heard him gloat while he's drunk or something. So let's wait a while before taking on an entire planet.
Mongol rose to his feet, eating up the applause that came his way.
Now with the feeble appetizers out of the way, I know why you're all here. First, the challenger, the king of the ring, Mito. Having quickly rose through the ranks, will he be the one to dethrone the champion?
Mara gasped at the mention of the name Mito, feeling that now her plan of brute force would be trickier than expected if he was in Mongol's employ.
You know this guy?
Through reputation. A few years ago, Diana had engaged in an intergalactic boxing match with him to save a young girl's life. She said it was one of the most grueling battles she'd ever experienced.
Mongol continued to list off Mito's victories before signaling his minions to open the other contestants' gate.
But can any of that have prepared him for the unstoppable beast of might? The monster of a man? Our very own legendary.
Mongol was cut off by a shockwave that could be felt by everyone in the stands. Mito was down, defeated in a single instantaneous blow.
Damn.
And now, standing above him, was a tall, dark-haired man with a blank expression.
Broly!
Hell nah. Nah, Broly in this story is crazy. I forgot all about Broly. I wouldn't think he gonna put Broly in the story, but Broly in the story, yes, it's gonna be tough.
Broly. Deep in the depths of space, on a volcanic planet, stood two beings. One was a construct, a mere shadow of someone using it to communicate over long distances, and the other was the killer of the most powerful warrior race the universe had ever seen. Rogol Zar lives.
If you choose to do this, there's not going to be a way back. I won't be able to protect.
Rogol Zar glared at the construct, and it rephrased its words.
You won't be able to stay here. I am truly grateful for the tasks you performed for me over the years, old friend. You've toppled tyrants, quelled rebellions, crushed gods beneath your booty. Even the Guardians themselves have kept their mouths shut about your deeds from the fear you inspire.
The warrior stood to his feet, his gigantic frame towering over the construct, his body showing both his age and every battle fought.
Damn.
You've been at peace for so long. Why come back into this game once again? Why now?
Rogol Zar activated a holo projector on his wrist, showing the report from Earth of the Saiyans' arrival, then switching it to a feed of one of his drones tracking the ship Kakarot, Kyle, and Batman were piloting.
If the Saiyans have returned, then so must I.
Meanwhile, Flash and Mera had managed to sneak into the living quarters of Mongol slaves. Some fighters, some workforce, most both. During the closing remarks after Broly's overwhelming victory, Mongol made a sly remark that even the mighty Broly was but one of the beasts of rage he had in his grasp. Deducing that this must be referring to the entity, the pair theorized that something so powerful would be kept where the rest of the monsters slept. Deciding to speed things up, Wally ran the length of the dwellings, his interest piqued by a giant mechanical gate in the lower levels. The Flash's moves were too fast for anyone's eyes to pick up. That is, except for the mountain of a man suddenly appearing before him, stopping Wally in his tracks.
Excuse me, are you lost?
Wally expected to have to fight, but despite his performance in the arena earlier, Broly was a gentle giant, having only stopped the Flash since Broly had never seen him around before, and judging by how frantically he was moving, the Saiyan assumed he must be searching for the bathroom or something. After reuniting with Mera in a safe location, the Leaguers decided to question Broly to see if he could help them locate the entity.
I've been here all my life. When I was very small, I was found by Father. Those days were good. But then, the Lord of Warworld found us, and I've been fighting here ever since.
Why not just, beat the snot out of him?
Broly shook his head before continuing to speak.
No! He has my father! Should I raise my hand against Mongol? Father will be killed.
Mera could see the pain in Broly's eyes as he spoke. It was striking how much he felt more akin to a shark than a humanoid. As Flash had told her, he was a gentle soul, but beneath that, she could tell there was something inside the man. Something dark, unstoppable. This feeling would have normally shaken her, but she could no longer afford to be distracted from her mission. Every second she wasted was their chance at reviving those lost, slipping away.
Broly, if I could guarantee your father's safety, would you be able to help us in our mission?
Broly was taken aback by the offer. Kindness was not something he had encountered on Warworld, but he could not shake the doubt that such a thing could be done.
I am sorry. I will try to help, but it is impossible.
Mera turned to Flash and smiled, while Wally's eyes briefly shone with lightning from the speed force, before vanishing instantaneously. Broly looked on in disbelief, as before he had been able to track the Flash's movements with no effort at all. But before he could even comment, the Flash had returned, with Broly's extremely confused father Paragus and Mongol shot collar spinning around his finger, disarmed.
We make a living out of doing the impossible.
Mera noted that with this act, it wouldn't be long until Mongol was alerted, and the three headed towards the gate once again, with Paragus in tow and the Queen of Atlantis directing Flash towards the control panel.
Someone about
Flash
to kill
goes through
Paragus.
every single possible combination until
The two quickly turned as a sudden noise shocked them, only to find Broly had used his bare hands to rip open the door.
I like this one.
Deep in the chamber, they finally found what they were looking for. The Butcher, restrained by a combination of mystical and scientific bindings. The entity immediately began to crash against its chains, desperately trying to break free and attach itself to one of the four. They had been briefed on how to contain the entity, but seeing it in person gave Flash pause, questioning how one person would be able to keep their sanity with something like that inside of them. Before a decision could be made, the slightly overwhelmed by the presence of the entity Flash was caught off guard and tasered by Paragus, the old warrior still seeing an opening when he found one. Then, as if on cue, Mongol emerged on the scene, having been alerted to the location by Paragus holding a tracker. Unlike Broly, Paragus' life had been one of luxury on Warworld. While he was aware of Mongol only keeping him around to keep Broly in check, Paragus had managed to scheme his way through the ranks despite that, eventually becoming second only to Mongol himself.
Broly, you stupid boy! How dare you try something like this? My position in our Lord's inner circle would have been thrown to the wayside if I hadn't let him know about your treachery. I should have you killed with these upstarts, but Lord Mongol still values the revenue you bring in. So torturing the pits will have to do.
You son of a...
Flash was struck by a kick to the jaw by Mongol, while a seething Mera readied herself for battle.
stand with us, Broly. We can defeat them together.
No! Stop it! You're confusing me!
Mongol laughed as Broly's face twisted in pain. He truly wanted to help his new friends, but he could not disobey his father. While this was happening, the Butcher roared, its dark voice seeping into the minds of everyone around it, harnessing the growing rage and confusion, growing stronger and stronger, until, as it sensed the perfect host finally give in to rage, it broke free from its bonds and dove straight towards Mera?
Fine, I'm through with diplomacy. If you will not listen, then I will rip this entire world apart in the name of my fallen king.
Everyone in the room looked on in awe as Mera was transformed by the Butcher, her power skyrocketing along with her rage. Paragus was blasted back by a sudden kick, and Mongol tried to attack, but Mera leapt towards him like an ocean predator, breaking his jaw with a single uppercut that sent him flying through the ceiling. Flash realized she was out of control and tried to calm her, dodging her rapid blows while attempting to reach the heart of his teammate. But as she kept missing, her rage grew. There seemed to be no stopping her until she was restrained by Broly, who was using his strength to hold her in a full Nelson.
I get like this, don't hurt her! It's not her fault!
Broly struggled, as even his incredible power was being matched by the cosmically possessed Mera.
Mira, look at me. I need you to understand what you're doing. Arthur is gone. Your husband died saving all of us. There's no escaping that. There's no running from it. I know. When Barry died, I was angry too. I blame myself, and it held me back for a long time. I still miss him every day, and I try my best to let him live on through my actions. But you still have a shot to bring Arthur back, and this big dumb entity is trying to stop you from seeing that. It's blinding you with rage, when what we need to hold on to is hope. You're the Queen of Atlantis, Mira. Put your damn foot down and show this thing who's boss.
Mera's screaming expression began to calm, the energy around her slowly but surely beginning to settle into a steady stream around her body. Broly let her go, and Mera finally let the tears she had been holding in ever since her husband died come out.
I just miss him so much, Wally. I don't know what to do.
Flash and Broly brought her into a hug, the trio managing to contain the Butcher.
Me too.
Alright, cool.
Me too.
You know what?
The unlikely friends had returned.
You know what? Good thing going to Broly, because that would have been impossible. Because that motherfucker would have turned fucking Super Saiyan.
To their ship. With the entity now in hand, they had to let the others know and continue to find the rest. Despite how much the two wished they could help free the people on the planet, Mera and Flash knew they just didn't have the manpower or the time.
You know, Broly, you could come live with us. Earth would give a much better life than this dump.
Flash is right. Without your help, I fear we could not have completed this task. You are a good man, Broly.
Broly smiled, but his eyes showed the sadness in his response.
I have to stay. I am still needed here. But I hope that one day I could maybe see this Earth. It sounds nice.
For your dad? I hate to say it, but he doesn't care about you, man. The guy's a total tool.
He is my father. I have to stay.
The ship took off, with Flash staring down at their new friend, sorrowfully waving goodbye. He promised to return and get Broly out of that life one day. Broly childishly wiped his eyes as he began to be overwhelmed at seeing the only friends he had ever had fly away. The legendary warrior collected himself and began his return to a life of slavery. It had been almost 6 weeks since Kyle had last seen Earth, and while at first the thrill of these new worlds had enraptured his imagination, given the growing tensions on the ship, things weren't so exciting anymore.
I can't believe we all fell for this. Luthor got to send us all into space, and now he's most likely conquered the planet. We practically gift-wrapped the Earth for him.
Hey, hold on! I know it's been kinda dull up here, but the others have already gotten 2 of the entities. And with the orange guy, that makes 3. So we're... half? No. Yeah, almost halfway there!
I mean, you're not wrong. And besides, being able to train with you two here has really helped me get the hang of this ring.
Batman ignored the pair, his mind focused on every possibility. And in this scenario, the bad ones far outnumbered the good. He was on a mission out in space, surrounded by fighters with the power to break stars, while searching for beings of godlike might. Stepping this far out of his element was shaking him.
Batman, you should
but
stay
more
home,
than that,
but...
his mind was still on Nightwing, Dick Grayson, his boy, taken from him by the Saiyan invasion, and the family he had left behind, defenseless. Kyle returned to his living quarters, beginning to sketch an exaggerated image of Batman and Kakarot in a comedy duo fashion.
Help us. Help free the entity.
Kyle shot up from his seat, his ring glowing a strange hue of green. When nothing happened next, he assumed it must have been something in his imagination, until the ring spoke once more.
You're searching for it. Help these coordinates. Land here and you will possess the entity.
Kyle ran to the main quarters, seeing Kakarot doing some meditation while Batman continued to pilot the ship.
Sorry, but I think my ring is telling me where the entity is. That planet on the screen, there.
While skeptical, Batman decided to give it a shot. He was done wasting time, and if this didn't lead to something, he was ending this farce. The trio arrived, but the energy detector wasn't picking up anything from the emotional spectrum.
Nothing. Again, nothing. How arrogant were we to think we could search an entire universe?
Hey, it was worth a shot. Maybe we should go down and have a look anyway. Could be fun.
Batman got up from his seat, walking directly towards Kakarot and staring daggers at him.
It's always a damn game to you. Our loved ones could be butchered by psychopaths at home and you wouldn't even care.
Hey, that's not true. What's gotten into you, buddy?
Don't you dare act like my friend. This entire situation is because of you. Luthor has a hold on the League because of you. My son is dead because of you.
What Kakarot
was taken aback, while Kyle frantically looked at the pair, the light emanating from his ring beginning to change to a yellow hue.
You could have led us. You were the first of us to really appear to the public. The people were looking for an ideal of hope, someone that could help change the world. But you, all you wanted was a good fight. You became a novelty, Clark. Luthor was never challenged by you and could grow under your nose. Diana had to pick up the slack, but she's fighting a political battleground. All these years you've done good, but it's never been for the good. Not really. The moment the Saiyans showed up, you let them kill a city. You let them kill the best Green Lantern in history. And now, when we would have needed him most, we're stuck with the rookie.
That's not... No! I never meant to!
He on your ass, Kakarot. Say something.
I just...
Kyle's ring was lighting the entire room in a yellow glow. Terrified as the voice emanating from the ring could no longer be understood. It was ancient, powerful, and echoing Batman's words.
Guys, I think something's wrong here. I can't control the ring.
Why, of course you can't. You're no Hal Jordan.
Suddenly, Sinestro emerged from a portal generated by the ring, wrestling it from the control of the terrified Kyle Rayner, who was no longer able to assert his will to use its power. And with the ring in his hand, Sinestro used it to expand the portal, unleashing a gigantic yellow creature that dove towards the Cape Crusader, instantly possessing Batman's body and transforming him in the image of Parallax.
Now, die screaming.
Parallax fired its energy in all directions, destroying most of the ship and sending it crashing onto the planet below. Kakarot emerged from the wreckage, having shielded the ringless Kyle from any damage by forming his ki into a makeshift barrier. He had been caught off guard once before. He wouldn't let another Green Lantern die because of that again. The possessed Batman and Sinestro stared down at the pair, impressed that they survived.
Is anyone going to explain to me what the hell just happened?
Sinestro rolled his eyes before deciding to inform the Lantern how this was entirely his fault. The pair had been sealed inside the green power battery on Oa, but were planning to use Hal Jordan to escape. But with him dead, their plan was ruined. Until the rookie wielding his ring seemed unusually compatible with the power of fear. They had been slowly using Kyle to restore some of their power, and with the final push from the Freeze argument, specifically Batman being influenced by their whispers, allowed Sinestro and Parallax the power to finally escape through the ring's connection to the central power battery. Kyle hung his head in shame. He'd been completely used, and now, for all his dreams of helping, he had just made things worse.
Well, if you're here now, looks like we don't have to keep searching for you.
Kyle looked up, amazed that Kakarot was still finding a positive in this hopeless situation. Sinestro scoffed at the notion before deciding to take his leave, mentioning that he had to inform their other ally of their success, flying off with Hal's ring into the atmosphere. Batman, however, got into a martial arts stance, his cape flowing wildly into horrifying, unnatural shapes. Kakarot told Kyle to hide in the forest, while he would try to bring Bruce back to his senses, knowing that the only way to get a chance to get through to him was to take this Parallax down.
Even now, all you want to do is fight. You are no hero.
I've never cared what people call me. That kind of stuff always seemed unimportant, but it led to this. That's on me. I just have to do the one thing I know I'm good at, and fight to get my friend back.
They face each other, cautious, determined, experienced. Their eyes lock. They each draw a breath. Their blows land with almost no force at first. A tap, a brush. They test, assess. A feint, a counter, a shift. Two martial arts masters, perhaps the best the universe has ever seen, maneuvering from chaos to logic in a current of fists. Their battle was one of mathematics.
Here come y'all niggas. No powers, who winning? Goku, Batman.
Versus thoughtlessness.
I love
Batman
that. Niggas
fought
love that
with
argument,
the precision
boy.
of a surgeon, his moves calculated for maximum efficiency, an economy of motion that made every single movement count. Kakarot, however, moved like water. He was formless, shapeless. He did not become tense, but ready. Not thinking, yet not dreaming. Ready for whatever may come. They fought for hours, with Kyle mesmerized at what he was witnessing. But eventually, the equilibrium began to break. Kakarot had started to land more and more, and slowly but surely, Batman was being pushed back.
I can't let you win. Not you. You're holding us all back. You were never like us. You'll never be one of us. You killed my son!
Parallax was panicking inside Batman's mind, and began to draw upon all of Bruce's deepest fears and insecurities, harnessing all of it to form one last-ditch effort in the form of a gigantic construct. Prior to this, Parallax hadn't been using energy blasts. It had simply been enhancing Batman's physical power to be on par with Kakarot, while leaving his skill set intact. It was like taking the best driver in the world and putting him behind the wheel of a better car. But now that it was pushed against the wall, it resorted to what it knew best. Parallax formed a bat, its size so large it dwarfed the planet's moon, charging towards the Saiyan. But Kakarot responded in turn, harnessing all of his ki into his fist.
I guess now's the best time to give this a shot. You're not the only one who can make constructs.
The Saiyan shot towards the yellow creature, raising his fist as his power reached its apex.
Dragon Fist!
Okay.
The image of a golden dragon emerged from his fist, shattering the bat and engulfing Batman in a giant concentration of energy. The explosion lit up the night sky before an exhausted Kakarot flew to the ground, holding an unconscious Batman.
I'm sorry I've been letting you down, buddy. I've got a new goal to strive towards. I'll make this right, so just hold on.
Kakarot laid him down as Card approached, thrilled that they had managed to save their friend for the moment, and curious as to why a dragon of all things was Kakarot's idea of a construct.
I don't know. It just felt right, you know?
Maybe you should try being an artist too. That thing looked awesome. I just hope we can both figure out a way to get off this planet. Without my ring, I'm useless to you.
Kakarot put his hand on Carl's shoulder, smiling with a huge grin.
We've got all we need right here, so don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Come on, let's find some food. I'm starving!
As Kyle felt a bit more at ease thanks to
Goku,
Kakarot's
this
goofy
nigga.
demeanor, the pair were completely oblivious to the gigantic warrior who was watching them from the shadows. Thanks to the information from his ally Sinestro, the plan was happening just as he predicted. Rogol Zar now had the Saiyan exactly where he wanted him after all these years.
Ooh.
I hope you enjoyed this spoon.
Okay, that was some fire chapter. We just watched chapter 5 and 6. Oh, damn, chapter 8 is 50 minutes long, so they're going to have to be its own video. All right. Yeah, so this was fire. Shout out to the Geek for Fun. And it's like about to get serious, but that boy Goku got a serious task in hand. I like they're collecting the entities, kind of like Dragon Balls, but like not like Dragon Balls. But anyway, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and check out the last chapters right here. Check out another video of something right here, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.